In the previous class, given you a introduction about the subject and introduction about all the models. Okay. Uh, in this class, I will start with your syllabus, module 1, that is springs, belts, and wire ropes. Okay. First, I will take springs. Okay. In detail, we will discuss about the spring. Okay. After this, as per the syllabus, the next I will cover module 2 and module 3. Okay. For your first IA, the syllabus will be 1.5 module. That is module 1 complete, and module 2 in that half part, that is per K, will be there for your first IA. As I told you in the previous class, spring is nothing but it is a elastic member. Okay. When you load the member, okay, as you load member, the member will deform or distort, okay, when the loading is done. But when you remove the load, the member is going to regain its original shape, means whatever the original shape which was there. Okay. uh, the member is going to regain its original shape. For example, here you can see that, assume that this is the original spring. This is without deformation. Okay, as you apply the load on this, here you can see that it will get compressed. Okay, it will be like this. But when you remove the load, it will regain its original shape. That is the nature of a spring. It is an elastic body. As you know the definition of elasticity. Elasticity is nothing but when the load is applied, the member is going to deform. Okay, and when the load is removed, the member is going to regain its original shape and size. And this spring is a mechanical device which is used for efficient storage of energy, and it is going to store the energy. When it is required, it is going to release. For example, when you were a child, you have played with the cars. Okay, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಆಟ ಆಡಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಕಾರ್ ಕೂಡ. ಆ ಕಾರ್ ಚಾವಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟ, okay, you will rotate that, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಚಾವಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟ ಮ್ಯಾಗ ಏನಾಕೈತದ, when you rotate that, it is going to store the energy. When you are going to release that, the car will start moving. Okay, means it is going to store energy, and whenever it is required, it is going to release. Okay, whatever the toys which you have played, okay, in that they will be using the spring system, which is going to store the energy, and when you remove the hand from that key, it is going to release the energy. Okay, that is the function or the property of a spring. And that is one application like this, where you are going to use the spring system. Okay, where you will use, if you see your automobiles, okay, in that automobile, it is used as a shock absorber. Okay, it will be used as a shock absorber, not only in your bike, your car, all the automobiles, even in the railways. Okay, you will see leaf spring. Okay, or when I'm going to tell you about the different types of springs, at that time you will understand. But keep in mind that you'll be using that in the railway system to absorb the shocks. Same in the aircrafts. Okay, to land the aircraft in the runway, what they will do, the land gear will come into picture. The land gear will open. Okay, first when the aircraft is going to land, the land gear is going to come in contact with the track or runway. Means there it is going to absorb the shock. To absorb that vibration or the shocks, the spring system is used in the vibration dampers. Like the different applications are there where you can use this spring. Next application is to apply the force, as in brakes or clutches, or you can take spring loaded valves or spring watches. Okay, to apply the forces you want to use this spring. And to control the motion uh, of the cam and follower. Okay, motion by maintaining the contact between two members in the cam and follower system. We'll be using this spring system. And to measure the force, as in spring balances or engine indicators, if you can see the indicators, that is engine indicators, they'll be using this spring system. And in the previous class I given the example where you're going to use a spring, okay, to measure the weight. They'll be using this. And as I told you already, in the toys, okay, in the movie camera, and in your watches also, you'll be using the spring system. Okay, where it is going to store the energy when it is required. It is going to release the energy. That is mm, the function of the spring. This is about the definition of the spring and application. I hope you understood spring definition and application. Okay. Now, as you are now familiar to the springs, or you know why the spring is used and where you can use that. Okay, now you know how many different types of springs are there. Okay, what are the different types of springs which are there? The first one is the helical spring. Okay, and how the helical spring is going to be manufactured? Okay, by using the wire. Okay, the wires are going to be coiled. Here you can see that the wires are going to be coiled in a helix. That's why it is called as helical spring. Whatever the wire which is coiled, it is in the form of helix. That's why it is called as helical spring. Okay, and this helical spring is used when the member is subjected for compression. Here you can see that the member is subjected for compression load. This will be the application of load. Okay, here the load is compressing, or assume that you are standing on that, means the spring is getting compressed. And one more application is tensile. You can drag this on the both end. The spring will undergo tensile. Okay, means this type of springs are used when member is subjected for tensile as well as compression loading. And if you see the cross section of this wire, okay, either the cross section of this might be circular. Here you can see that is a circular one. Instead of circular one, you can use square, or you can use rectangular also. Depending upon the application, you can use. Total 3 types are available. One is circular one, other one is square, and one more is rectangular. And in the diagram or in the slide, you can see both type of helical spring. One is compression helical spring, other one is tensile helical spring. This is about the helical spring. The second one is conical and volute spring. You can see the shape of this. Whatever the spring is there, it is in a conical shape. That's why it is called as conical spring, and this is a volute spring. Okay, this is the another type of spring, and where you are going to use this type of spring. As there is an increasing load, okay, there will be spring rate increasing. Okay, in the terminologies, I will tell you what do you mean by this spring rate. A formula is there. By using that, you are going to calculate that spring rate. Okay, this conical and volute spring you will be using for increasing load. As a result of that, the spring rate also increases. That is the application. Okay, when the spring rate is increasing, or this is because of increase in the load. At that time, we'll go with conical and volute spring. And the one more feature of this conical and volute spring is that as this number of coils are going to decrease, okay, as the number of coil decreases, it is going to increase the spring rate. Okay, if you have more number of coils, then the spring rate will reduce. As the number of coils are reducing, okay, you are going to increase the spring rate. If you want more spring rate, or if you want to increase the spring rate, means you need to reduce the number of coils in the spring, whether it is a conical or volute spring. Okay, and where you will be using this conical and volute spring? It is used to what you call that, support the body, in which the mass is varying. Okay, where the mass is varying. Okay, to support that, you are going to use this conical and volute spring. This is the second type of spring. The third one is the torsion spring. Okay, whatever this torsion spring is there, either the torsion spring will be helical type. Okay, you're seeing the first one, helical. Whatever the torsion spring is there, it will be helical or the spiral spring. Here you can see that the spiral type is there. Either it will be helical or spiral type. And this helical type of spring is used in the electrical mechanisms. Okay, in the electrical mechanism, they will be using this helical type. Whatever this helical type is there, they will be using that in an electrical mechanism. Whereas this spiral type torsion spring is used in whatever the watch you are wearing, or the wall mount watch. Okay, all those they will use spiral torsion spring. I think you understood this, when you have to use this torsion spring and when you have to use this spiral. This spiral is used in watches and clocks. Okay, whereas this torsion spring is used in electrical mechanism. Where you will be using electrical mechanism, there you can use this torsional. That is in particular you'll be using helical. Whereas in watches and clocks, you'll be using the spiral type. This is about the third one. Fourth one is a laminated, or it is also called as leaf spring. As I told you, this leaf spring is used in automobiles. Okay, in the rear end, whatever this laminated or leaf spring is there, or this is also called as flat spring. Why? Because here you can see that the springs are flat. That's why it is called as flat leaf, uh, flat spring, leaf spring, or laminated. Here the lamination is done. Is called as laminated spring. Okay, and you can see that how the construction of this leaf spring takes place. Okay, to construct this leaf spring, they will be using number of flat plates. You can say you can take this as a flat plate number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Total 11 flat plates are there. Like that, to construct a leaf spring or laminated, it requires more number of flat plates, and these sometimes they will call it as flat plates, or it is also called as leaves. That's why it is called as leaf spring. And if you see those length, here you can see that the length of these leaves are varying. It is not constant. Here you can see that the leaf which is at the top is having more length compared to that. The next one is smaller. Like that, the length keep on changing. Okay, and all these leaves are joined by using the clamp. Here you can see that 4 clamps will be used. After that, bolt system is used. Clamp and bolt system is used to join these. And the major application of this leaf spring is in automobile. And the last type of spring is disc spring. Here a circular, there will be a tube or bolt. On this, they are going to place the disc. So that's why it is called as a disc spring. Okay. Here you can see that it consists of a number of conical discs which are going to be held together. Okay, how it is going to be held together? By a central bolt or a tube. By the central bolt or tube, it is going to hold these conical discs. And these disc springs are used where there is a high spring rate. If high spring rate is there, then they will use this disc spring. Here you can see that the load is applied on the disc spring. This is the bolt or tube, and on this the disc are going to be placed. Okay, these are the different types of springs which are going to be used in different applications. Okay, now we'll see the materials. Now you see that you have seen the definition, application. After that, types, how many types of springs are there. Now we'll see the material. Okay, before the material, you should understand the terms. Why? Because I think in 2 or 3 types of belts we have used this term spring rate. Okay, what do you mean by this? Okay, we need to understand those terms which are going to be used in the spring system. Okay, first term is solid length. Solid length is nothing but, okay, you take a normal spring. Okay, you take a normal spring and compress that. How you need to compress that? Whatever these coils are there, this will come in contact with each other. Okay, like that you need to compress that. Okay, after that, whatever the length you are going to measure that, that is called as solid length. For example, here you can see that. In this, whatever the spring is there, it is compressed. If you measure this, it is called as solid length. Here you can see that the space is there. This is called as pitch. Okay. When you compress that, both will come in contact with each other. From that, you can measure that solid length. You can see that definition. But the springs are compressed until the coils come in contact with each other. Whatever these coils are there, they will come in contact with each other. Then whatever the spring is there, it is we are going to call it as solid spring. Okay, and if you measure that length, then it is called as a solid length. Okay, and formula is there to measure that solid length. Okay, and you can see that this is the diameter. D is the diameter of the wire. Whatever the wire we have used here, you can see that this is nothing but the diameter of the wire. Diameter of the wire, and how many number of coils are there? Total number of coils. The solid length depends upon total number of coils and diameter. The diameter is same. It will not change. The diameter is same, and you will count how many number of coils are there. That multiplied with the diameter of the wire, it will give you the solid length. And to measure the solid length, there are 4 conditions. Okay, what are the conditions they will give? They will tell that whatever the spring is there, it is plane ended. Plane ended means you have to use this formula: I plus 1 into D. I is number of coils, D is the diameter of the wire. Okay, while solving the problem, I will tell you, because I need to show the diagram. Okay, from that you will understand this clear. What is plane end? What is ground end? Okay, ground end is number of coils multiplied by diameter, and next is a square end. Okay, and the last one is a square and ground ended. Okay, these are the 4 conditions which they will give for gate. According to that, you need to select the formula. Okay, in detail I will explain this with the figure. Okay, now the next is resilience. Okay, the resilience of the spring is nothing but it is the, what you call that, how much the spring is going to absorb the energy. In your material testing lab or in our material science, you have used these terms. In mechanics of materials also, while telling the properties of the material, I told you about the resilience, that is properties. This is also one of the property. Resilience is nothing but how much the member is going to absorb the energy. Okay, and this resilience where particularly you used means in your material testing lab you have conducted 2 tests, ISOD and Charpy. Think you are able to remember that. When you drop that pendulum or the arm from a particular height or particular angle, it is going to hit the specimen. Okay, and there it is going to absorb the energy. Okay, means from that you can define that resilience is nothing but it is the energy absorbed by the specimen. Okay, how to calculate that? It is U is equal to F into Y divided by 2. Okay, it is there in your data and book, that is chapter number 11. Chapter number 11 is spring. Okay, what are the equations of the formulas which you are going to use in the spring? All are there in this chapter 11. Okay, this particular equation is 11.8, page number 171. And next one, here you can see that this is the solid length, means you applied the compression load. Here both the coils are coming in contact with each other, whereas this is without applying load, that is free length. You don't apply any load on the spring. You just measure the length of that. That will give you the free length. Free length is nothing but it is the length of the spring in the free or unloaded condition. As I told you here, the loading is not done. Okay, when the loading is done, if you measure that, then it is called as free length. How you are going to measure that free length? Okay, to measure that, you should know the solid length of that spring. Here you know how to calculate the solid length. Okay, free length is nothing but free length is equal to solid length and unit add solid plus maximum deflection. Okay, how much maximum a member can deflect when it is subjected for loading, that is compression loading. And to that you need to take down the clearance between the adjacent joints. How much clearance is there? Here you can see that it's called as P. How much clearance is there? You will going to get that. From that length, value you are going to get the free length of the spring. Okay. After that, next the term which we are going to use is a spring index. Spring index is nothing but it is the ratio, it is the what you call that ratio of mean diameter. Okay, this is the mean diameter of the coil divided by diameter of the wire. Here you can see that whatever this small d is there, this is nothing but the diameter of that particular coil. Okay, to find out the spring index of this, you have to take the ratio of mean diameter of the coil. Okay, mean diameter of the coil divided by diameter of the wire. From that you will find out the spring index, that is capital D divided by small d. Spring index is denoted by C, capital C. Next is pitch. Okay, I think already you have used this pitch definition in your gears, dynamics of machine. Okay, pitch is nothing but here you can see that it is the axial distance between the adjacent coils. Here you can see that this is the adjacent coil. Okay, the axial distance which you are going to measure from the adjacent coils, that will give the pitch of that spring. And as I told you, we were using this term spring rate. Okay, how to calculate this spring rate, and this spring rate it is called as stiffness or spring constant. The other name for this spring rate is stiffness or spring constant. Spring rate, how to calculate that? It is the ratio of whatever the load required to the deflection or load acting on that. As a result of that, how much deflection is there. From that you are going to find out the spring rate. Spring rate is denoted by K is equal to, it is the ratio of load required per unit deflection. Y is nothing but the deflection, F is the load applied, it is Newton, and deflection is in mm. Therefore the spring rate is in Newton per mm. This is about the spring rate. Now if you have any doubts you can ask me. I will give you 2 minutes time. Any doubts? Do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Whatever the topics I covered till now. If you don't have any doubts, then I will take the next topic. Should I start the next topic?
Okay,
Or
sir.
if you have any doubts, I will clarify that and I will. Don't have any doubts? Okay. As I told you, different spring materials are there. Okay. Uh, Depending upon what criteria you are going to select the springs. Okay. Uh, the first criteria might be load applied. Okay. In all the applications, you cannot apply 1 kg load or 1 kilonewton. Means depending upon the application, the load will change. According to that, uh, on that spring how much load is acting, depending upon that the spring material is selected. Okay. And the second one is environmental condition. As I told you, whatever the spring which you are using. Okay. For example, the spring which I am using in for example Belgium, that may not hold good in Goa. Why? Because or coastal region, because there humidity is there. Okay. Because of that there is a possibility that the spring might catch the rust. Okay. Keeping in that mind, that is environmental conditions, you need to design the spring where you are using, whether you are using it for humid conditions or whether you are using it for normal conditions. That is the second one. And third one is expected fatigue life. Okay. During the life of this, how much the load a member is going to take, all these considerations has to be done. And you will be knowing the range of stress. Okay. Stress range means what will be the minimum stress and what will be the maximum stress spring is going to undergo. Okay. Depending upon that condition, you are going to select the type or material for the spring. And the next one is limitations on the mass. Okay, how much load is there and the volume of the spring. These all these things or factors are going to be considered for the selection of the spring material. Now we'll see the four different varieties of steel wires which are used in the spring. Okay, the first one is a patented and cold drawn steel wires. Total four types are there, or four varieties are there. Okay, first one is a patented and cold drawn steel wire. The second one is oil hardened. Okay, in your metal testing lab, to increase the properties of the material, heat treatment is done. Okay, after heat treatment, either you will use oil or water quenching is done. Similarly here also we'll be using this oil hardened and tempered spring steel wire and ball spring wires. This is the second variety. The third one is oil hardened and tempered steel wire. This is unalloyed and this is alloyed. The last one is a stainless steel spring wires for normal corrosion resistance. As you can see that stainless steel, okay, it is used for non corrosive environment. Okay, for example, as I told you, where the humidity is there or coastal region, there you prefer the corrosion resistance spring. There you can go ahead with the stainless steel. These are the four basic varieties of steel. Okay. in detail we are going to study that. Okay, in the next class I will tell you in detail about the four varieties of steel, and after that I will take down the derivation on this. Okay, up to this, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Now you can put your attendance. Total 50 students are there. Okay, put your attendance now. After putting your attendance, you can leave. Otherwise, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. If you don't have any doubts, then you can leave.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in leaf spring, how those leaf plates are arranged, sir?
You can, yes, I will show that. See here, the leaf, okay, or the flat plate which is having the greater length, it will be placed at the top. Okay, after that, compared to that which is having less length, like that, they will do that. And all these things, calculations need to be done. Randomly, it is not done. Design procedure is there. After that, to join all this, you can see that a center bolt is there. Here you can see that. Here they are going to make the hole. To join all these
Yes, sir.
things, they are going to have this center bolt. Okay, and after that, all the whatever the leaves are there or flat plates are there, these are joined by clamps and bolts. Like this, they are going to join all the flat plates together. Then it is going to form the leaf spring.
So do
Did you
they
understand?
also act as dead weights?
Once you are going to design that, then you will, how you are going to calculate the length of all these things, you will come to know.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, all of you put your attendance. Okay. Thank you. I will continue the next class.
Thank you, sir.